The season started with 9 teams sharing the same vision, get to the SCIAC championship game. The defending SCIAC playoff champion Chapman Panthers and number 2 seed Claremont Mudscript Stags accomplished that goal. We'll see who achieves their one shining moment. It's Panthers Stags on the Chapman Broadcast Network. Live here at the Harold Hutton Sports Center at Chapman University in Orange, California. It is the SCIAC championship game as the 2 best teams in the conference will battle it out here tonight. The winner getting an automatic bid to the NCAA Division III tournament. As we welcome you inside the broadcast booth, I'm Ken Paisley alongside me, my partner Gardner Royce. And Gardy, this is Chapman's first opportunity for back-to-back trips to the big dance as they successfully got themselves into this position last year, but Gardner, they got to run through a powerful Claremont team first.
That's right, and they met these teams twice throughout the season. Chapman won both of those games. They were all down to the wire. The February 3rd, their most recent meeting actually went to overtime. The Panthers escaped with 3 points, so expect a good old-fashioned shootout.
Absolutely, both teams with strong offenses, but before we get to this game, let's quickly run through the highlights from last night's game between your Chapman Panthers and the visiting Whittier Poets.
So the semifinals pitted Whittier against Chapman, and it was a great first half to watch. Very close, that is, until Hot Sauce Hamasaki took over. He finished with 36 points, giving it to them from beyond the arc, from inside, from everywhere. Along with him, his backcourt mate Colin Zavernick pitched in a bunch of clutch three-pointers. This one from way, way out. The Panthers used this game to make it to the SCIAC final tonight.
A great second half propelled this Chapman team to tonight's game, but it's an even tougher mountain to climb here, Gardy, but against this Claremont Stags team. And let's take a look at the 3 keys of the game.
We're going to start out with forcing turnovers. The Panthers have stressed that the entire season. One of the things they need to work on is their defensive intensity. Last night, they had 10 steals, turned that into 27 points off of turnovers, so expect them to key in tonight. And then number 2, you got to find the open man. Both of these teams rely heavily on the three-point shot. Expect both the Panthers and Claremont Mudscripts to penetrate and kick the ball out. And finally, the most important thing is crashing the boards. The Panthers were out-rebounded 28-25 last night. However, they're going to have to do better than that tonight if they hope to hang on for the victory.
And crashing the boards, Gardner, big part of this team, and as well, limiting turnovers last night. Chapman only had 4 turnovers themselves, being able to win the points off turnovers battle 27-5. A huge margin for the team. They would love to repeat that success. And those are the keys of the game. But, Gardy, what specific matchup do we need to be looking out for tonight?
That matchup has to start with Claremont Mudscript's Tyler Gaffney. He leads the SCIAC in points per game with 23. He also leads the league in field goal percentage as well as three-point percentage. And for the Panthers, Taylor Hamasaki coming off his career-high 36 points. He's been phenomenal throughout the season. He can hit it from beyond the arc. He can get to the hoop, get to the lane, and he also has a beautiful step-back jumper that makes him very, very difficult to defend.
And when Hamasaki catches on fire, Gardner, everyone in the Harold Hutton Sports Center knows it. And Gaffney, interesting stat about him, he has not seen a single minute of rest against this Panther team, playing 40 and 45 minutes in their 2 contests this season. So we'll keep an eye out for both of them tonight. It's going to be a great fight between them. And when we return, we will have the starting lineups and the opening tip here on the Chapman Broadcast Network. And welcome back. Moments away from the opening tip here in the first round of the SCIAC playoffs. And we welcome in our 3rd member of our broadcast team, Melody DeOracle. Melody, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. Like you said, the biggest matchup tonight is Taylor Hamasaki against Tyler Gaffney. And I spoke to Coach Bukowski before warm-ups, and he told me he has no solution on how to guard Gaffney. Gaffney's going to get his 20 points, but what matters is whether or not Chapman keeps him at 20 and then guards the rest of the team with great defense. Now, he also told me that basketball is a game of luck. Both these teams struggle from the charity stripe, so the luckier team who gets the points in the free throw line is going to win the SCIAC championship. Back to you guys.
And Melanie, Coach Pekoski also went on Hoopsville, saying the same thing about luck being a humongous factor. Hoopsville, a Division III podcast for your Panthers. They shoot 67.3% from the free throw line, and Claremont shoots 68.2%. And now let's take a look at the starting lines for your Chapman University Panthers. And it's the usual suspects. Number 10, Garrett James. Number 12, Taylor Hamasaki, having a career night last night of 36 points. Number 15, Colin Zaversik. Number 22, Mike Atwater. And number 24, Justin Young. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Claremont Stags. We have number 12, Jake Early. Number 14, the aforementioned Tyler Gaffney. Number 24, Jack Grodall. Number 33, Shelby Lane, and it is not number 25, Jason Harrington, but number 30, Christian Mikado, and a late substitution of their starting lineup. I'm sure we'll see some playing time for Harrington throughout this game. Mikado has seen 17 minutes out of 85 total against this Panther team, so head coach Ken Scalamini electing to try and throw a different look at this Panther team, which is currently 2-0 against this squad. And Garner, Harold Hutton Sports Center getting loud, getting excited for this big game, trying to defend back-to-back SCIAC title championships. It's the 100th edition of the SCIAC playoff. Just weird to think World War I, this tradition began and it continues to today.
You said it, Kent, and last night was about the loudest I think I've heard the Hutton Sports Center. Incredible energy, especially in that first half. They were going back and forth. The Panthers went into the first half only up 35-33. We're going to talk about it throughout the game. We'll see if Hamasaki can get going, but that's really what got this Panther team that victory, secured their berth into this SCIAC final. Hamasaki and Zaversnik, they've been playing together for so long. They understand when one of them gets going, feed him the ball, feed him the ball, feed him the ball.
And Gardner, another thing to note briefly here, the Stags, they run on Gaffney. Both teams played last night. Gaffney played 38 minutes. This is the first back-to-back this team will have seen since the preseason. Because SCIAC play, it's Tuesday nights and Saturday nights, plenty of break between games, so see if there's any fatigue for Gaffney down the stretch of this game. Now set to take the tip, it is Atwater for the Panthers, facing off against Lane. The ref sets, the tip is up, and the Stags will have the opening possession of this contest. Ball being brought to the floor by Early. And Gardner, interesting to see how much of a ability to get inside the three-point line. The Poets really struggled against Chapman last night to operate their offense within the three-point line. It's posting up down low is Lane, who forces up a hook shot, no good. Rebound, Hamasaki, one of the best transition finishers in the game. Crossing over, going in the middle, drawing some contact. He gets the lefty layup to go for the opening bucket of this championship game.
And he had Atwater open in the lane the entire time.
Clearly still feeling on fire from last night. Feeding Lane down low again, cross-court pass. 15 on the shot clock for the Stags, pass tipped. Hutton Sports Center trying to throw a curveball. Gaffney looking at the shot clock, take the screen, crosses over. Bunny hop, the feed, the finish. Mikado with a nice backdoor cut right there, Gardner.
We'll see interior defense, expect that to be a very major concern for both of these teams. They like their guards slashing. As we mentioned, they both rely on the three-point shot.
Hamasaki pump faked on that open three. Swings out to James, 16 on the shot clock as he resets the offense. Panthers in their motion offense. Now to Hamasaki, who always loves stepping back, then sprinting into the move. 3 on the shot clock. Going into the middle, getting a lane, cannot get it to go. Pretty good look right there for Hamasaki, Gunner, just unable to stay under control.
Well, and I spoke to Bukowski last night, and he said that the Panthers give both Hamasaki and Zaversnik so much freedom on the offense that it really allows them to create what they want.
And the 2 attempts by McPotto, no good. Excuse me, that was by Lane, unable to finish on his own putback. Zavznik fires up the 3, no good offside iron. Stags with the board. And we saw yesterday both teams here at the Harold Hudson Sports Center had a lot of jitters, couldn't get their offense going in the early going, and both teams facing the same problem here. A lot of layups missed in the early going. As the Hudson Sports Center gets involved a lot earlier tonight. Gaffney, the runner, good, hanging in the air quite well there, Gardner.
Well, and he's going to be the guy that if these Stags want to win, they're going to have to do it with him. He's the only player on the Stags team that averages over 10 points a game. So if the Panthers, and specifically Zavznik or whoever comes in to defend him, if they can key in on him, prevent him from getting the ball, the Panthers will have a good shot at this.
Hamasaki handing off to his backcourt mate Zavznik. He's got 8 on the shot clock, steps back for the deep 2 from the baseline, no good, in and out. Atwater with the offensive rebound, and he is fouled. That will be charged to Lane for the first personal foul of the game.
Well, and we talked about that pre-game, crashing the board. That's going to be huge for the Panthers. They are an undersized team. Bukowski mentions about that throughout the game, but you see here, Atwater going up, fighting for position. He just gets fouled, coming down with the ball. That's going to be good for the Panthers.
And the shot by Hamasaki is converted from beyond the arc, returning the Panthers to the lead at 5-4. And again, the Harold Hudson Sports Center getting loud. It's going down low as Lund, who checked in the last stoppage, and he is fouled on the shot attempt.
Hudson Sports Center fans do not approve of that. I imagine they're going to be yelling at the refs throughout tonight.
And let's take a look at that foul. Just a little bump on the hip by Atwater. His hands may have been up, but the hip is what matters. As Lund lines up the first free throw and knocks it down.
We mentioned this at the beginning of the game. We'll see how fatigue plays in. These are two teams that love to score. They love to run in transition. And as you mentioned, they haven't played this type of back-to-back game throughout the season. So we'll see how this type of game affects their style of play, which does rely so heavily on their ability to get vertical.
And Lund, a 39.1% free throw shooter, able to complete the perfect trip to the charity stripe. Panther offense struggling to get moving here. It's 15 on the shot clock as they finally get into their motion set. Five on the clock for Zavrznik. Fires up, he's tripped, pass out to Hamasaki for 3. Good! The most efficient Panther offense, 2 seconds or less on the shot clock.
How many times did we see him hit that exact same shot last night? It seemed like everything he threw up went in. That's a bailout for these Panthers.
And Hamasaki has all 8 points for the Panthers in the early going. The layup is good for McPotto. Down low, a strong finish. Chapman getting into the set quicker here. Young driving in, going all the way to the hoop, and that's an easy charging foul. Gardner just lowered the shoulder and trucked him.
Yeah, you can't do that here. Take a look at it in replay, just missed it. But he just lowered his shoulder, barreled through. I think they all knew that that was going to be an offensive foul. That's not exactly their best play on offense either. They have shooters. They have guys that can move without the ball. So getting it down low like that doesn't totally make sense.
Hankey checks in the game for the Panthers. Atwater heading back to the bench. And for the Stags, Linz checks in. He's on the floor alongside Early, Ellie, who just checked in the game as well, Gaffney, and Lund. In a close contest, 5 minutes in, Hankey trying to make some noise on a block on the pump fake and is burned. Hamasaki with the ball on the left side. Zavrznik trying to draw the contact, and he gets the call.
That's going to be called a foul every single time.
And let's take a look at this replay as Zaversnik driving left side, and the feet were sliding. He didn't have an angle, so bailed out right there by Ellie, who just checked in the game.
Earlier in the season, Zaversnik did that exact same play at Laverne, except the defender wasn't quick enough, and he flushed it down for an emphatic dunk.
The first free throw is good. Zaversnik lining up the second and converting, so a perfect trip to the free throw line. As Jordan Young checks in, replacing Garrett James, giving the Panthers more size.
Speaking of size, neither of these teams is actually very good at rebounding. One of the reasons that we mentioned that in the keys to the game, they're actually both in the bottom 2 of SCIAC rebounding. So definitely one thing to notice, whoever ends up on the top of the rebounding statistics probably will come away with this victory.
Stags with good ball movement on this possession. Everyone moving off the ball. Gaffney with 14 on the shot clock. Going right side, right by Jordan Young. Trying to draw the foul, almost an incredibly athletic finish, but no pictures on the scoreboard as Hamasaki on the right side. Crossing over, going all the way to the rim and finishing.
And just
Gardner,
like that.
We are learning that in the playoffs, this is Hamasaki's house and he will defend it. And a backdoor cut. Beautiful ball movement for the layup. Good foul by the Panthers right there, not giving up anything easy to the lane, forcing them to go to the free throw line.
Good foul by them, but not great defense as we see here. He gets that backdoor. The Panthers are going to have a little bit better interior defense, as we mentioned before, because these Stags, they can get going from beyond the arc too. So if they keep giving all this interior penetration, they're going to start collapsing in on them, and then you're going to see those wide open three-point marksmen.
And the Panthers gave up a lot of backdoor cuts in the early going yesterday, as 1 for 2 from the free throw line is Lane on that trip. And it all started with early with the recognition that, hey, my man is overplaying me, I'm gonna go backdoor. The hottest man on the floor, feeding it down low to Hankey. Double team, kicks it out. And Hamasaki fades. He's feeling it again, Gardner.
Hot Sauce Hamasaki is heating up tonight.
He has 12 of the Panthers' 14 points. As the Hamasaki chat began, the three no good for early. Rebound Young, who feeds to the hot hand. And he goes up for the layup. In and out, no good. Everyone else in the gym thought it was gonna fall.
Hamasaki wanted a foul. He said he got hit going up there. Still a great play by him to get to the lane. They can't really match his speed right now.
Hamasaki finding that 5th gear in playoff games. Lynn's thought about the backdoor pass. Instead, the ball ends up down low for Lane. Swinging it out, good ball movement by the Stags. They are running some great sense compared to the Panthers just giving the ball to Hamasaki. 5 on the shot clock as early drives. Layup no good. Rebound by Justin Young. Chapman electing not to push in transition here as Hamasaki calls out a set for the Panthers. Dragovic set to check in at the next stoppage. Hamasaki double team passing to Young. Zaversnik regains the handle after being deflected away from him. 12 on the shot clock for number 12, who goes back into his favorite isolation set. He's sprinting in, crossing over right side, feeding to his backcourt mate, whose 3 is blocked. That's tipped out of bounds. Chapman will have the ball with 2 seconds on the shot clock as Dragovic checks in alongside Lund for the Stags. Going to the bench is Lane, and also checking in for the Stags is 24 Grodal, as Early retreats back to the bench for a breather.
And with Hamasaki's 36-point performance, it's kind of easy to forget that Zaversnik is 3rd in the SCIAC in scoring with 18.6 points per game, so expect him to get going as well.
And so the shot is blocked. Strong defense by the Stags as Taylor and Atwater will check in for the Panthers. good inbounds play to get Young the look, but it's easy. With 2 seconds left, the defender just needs to jump straight up.
Well, we mentioned this at the beginning of the game, fatigue. We'll see, because we've seen on the Stags a couple of shots that seem like they should be going in just a little bit off. We'll see whether that remains an issue throughout the game.
Gaffney feeding down low to Lund, and his layup is good.
That interior defense that we talked about, the Panthers giving up some easy possessions, not really pressuring the ball handler. He's getting it down inside the paint where their size does become an issue.
And Dragovic getting his first minutes of the game, feeding it down low to Atwater. He's double teamed. And we have a 3 in the key called. So another Panther turnover on back-to-back possessions. Make that 3 turnovers for Chapman. They only had 4 all last night, Gardner, so the composure lacking a little bit here as we go to replay. Atwater fed down low on the double team. A good pump fake, but just nowhere to go. Lost the handle, and 3 seconds transpired. And we have a foul charge to Atwater. That will be his 2nd personal foul, fighting for position. So Bukowski will leave Atwater on the floor here. Risky decision, but it is playoff basketball. Usually more lenient with your subs. McPotto up top. And we have an offensive foul charge to Gaffney. Elbowing Jordan Young, trying to cut in as Hankey set to check back into the game for Atwater. Bukowski may have just not realized immediately that there was 2 fouls in Atwater.
When you'll see,
as the Stags will take a 30-second timeout here, Gardner.
When you'll see Jordan Young is playing some great defense on Gaffney. We know Gaffney can get his shot when he wants, whether it's a step-back jumper or getting to the lane. He's very quick. So Jordan playing physical defense, but for Gaffney, you can't give him an elbow like that. And one thing that Bukowski's spoken about the entire season is that because they're undersized, they do have to play a much grittier style of defense. You know, he said, yes, they lack in size, but they have to make up for it in heart. They have to be those bullies on the court.
And a big part of rebounding, Gardner, is who wants it more, and we'll see which team ends up wanting it more at the end of the game. But 10:52 to go. This is around the time when Hamasaki gets a breather, and right now he's got 12 of the Panthers' 14 points. This team has got to find a way to get an offensive set going where they create a look that they can finish, because they are 5-11 from the floor. Hamasaki 5 of 8. The only other 2 points coming from Zaversnik's 2 free throws.
Well, yes, every time they've tried to put it down to one of their bigs, they've either gotten deflected or turned the ball over. So they're going to have to figure out how to get points going, like you mentioned before the game, how to get points going without Hamasaki or Zaversnik.
Gaffney takes the inbounds pass, has a screen, now double teamed. Wisely kicking it out. 18 on the shot clock, plenty of time for the Stags to operate. And the open 3 for Linz, no good. Rebound by Dragovic. He feeds to James as Hamasaki is on the bench along with Zaversnik. See where the Panthers can get some offense. Floor general redirecting traffic. Chapman's only 3-point shooter on the floor is Jordan Young, as he is in the left corner right now, cutting into the middle. 10 on the shot clock. Now to Young, he fires the 3. Bank was almost open, but Gaffney comes up with the rebound.
See Jordan keeping up with him, even though Gaffney was in a full sprint. Very good defense to not let him blow by them for an easy layup.
Good recovery right there by the Panthers in transition, Gardner, as Lund has the ball down low. He fires up and reclaims the lead for the Stags.
And Lund, a little variation of the move he pulled a little bit earlier, but very similar. They just get it down to him. He's a bigger guy, and he's shown that he's soft around the basket.
Coach Bukowski recognizing his offense is stalling. Has Zaversnik set to check in at the next stoppage. As Taylor rips through. Now feeding down low to Hankey. Hankey left alone on the block. Hook shot. Quality look down low. Panthers get the bucket.
Anything you can do, I can do better. The Panthers trying to get going. Interior offense, as we mentioned before.
Make that 8 lead changes in the first 11 minutes of action. Gaffney to the left side. As the Hut is getting back involved, they were a little quiet there for the last 5 minutes. Gaffney, 8 on the shot clock. The step back by Grodal is short, no good. James with the rebound. Justin Young also set to check in for the Panthers at the next stoppage. We're not surprised to see Hamasaki join them shortly. Taylor fakes, goes baseline, and his shot is blocked. He'll get a foul, and Gardner, that might have also been a goaltend. That ball looked like it may have gone off the backboard going up. Regardless, he'll go to the free throw line for 2 as we check out the replay. Taylor with a strong drop step, goes up, and it did hit the backboard, then blocked. Refs missing that call, but we're in the broadcast booth. We get 2 looks. We cannot judge the referees. It's a tough job.
And Taylor, we've spoken about him throughout the season. He's a freshman, and he provides a lot of length. He's a tall guy. He's not physically that big, so imposing he is not, but he makes smart passes, and on defense, he's very good at deflecting the ball. He rearranges, he changes people's shot. Definitely something that Bukowski will look to in his following 3 years here as a Panther.
Taylor's second free throw is good as Hamasaki and Zaraznik check in alongside Justin Young. So Hankey and James remain on the floor for the Panthers. Resetting the floor for the Stags. It is Early bringing the ball up the floor. To his left is Gaffney alongside Grodal, McPotto, and Lane, the starting 5 with 8 minutes to go in the opening half. And James with the deflection of the pass. Gaffney able to recover it. 10 on the shot clock for the Stags. An open 3 for Grodal. No good offside iron. Rebound by James, who passes off to Hamasaki.
James is playing with potentially a ruptured tendon. You'll notice his fingers are taped. At the end of last night's game, he was basically playing one-handed. Spoke to him earlier, said, I'm taping it up and I'm ready to go.
Hamasaki for 3, that's short. Offensive rebound by Justin Young, who falls to the floor, and a travel is called. Lost his balance right there, fell to the floor as 3 players were fighting for that one. Hamasaki on the miss, the strip by Young, and just slips on the foot of McPotto.
Great effort, though, by Justin Young to get that offensive board.
Love the intensity. Gaffney for 3, good. Beautiful back pick. James just in sheer frustration afterwards, throwing his fist.
Well, I think he's frustrated because the Panthers have done such a good job at denying Gaffney the ball. Anytime he's gotten the ball, they've doubled him or they've thrown different defensive assignments at him, which has prevented him from getting into the lane, prevented him from getting those shots. So that's just, they're playing good defense. Just better offense on that play.
Gardner, neither team has won a half by more than 4 points in this game, showing more of the same. James pump fakes on the 3, kicks out to Hamasaki. Again, that torn tendon on his right hand. He is hesitant to shoot the 3-point shot. Hamasaki crossing into the middle. The layup, the finish. Hamasaki is just a magician on the floor right now, slicing and dicing any Stag in his way.
The hot sauce is spicy tonight. Hamasaki is taking this week on.
And a strong post move down low for the Stags, no good. Lane with a beautiful drop step, unable to finish. And make that 10 lead changes. As James slows down the offense, he's calling out for another set. Panthers getting into their motion offense.
Spoke with Hamasaki last night. He said anytime an athlete gets in a zone like that, he said that's what they live for. He said it feels amazing. It's like an out-of-body experience.
And the hook shot in and out, no good. Stags will take possession after the tip off of Hankey. And Hankey giving the Panthers some strong minutes on the defensive end, Gardner. He's got 2 points with a field goal, and he's got a board and an assist, contributing in the small ways, and that's what you need from your bench in a playoff situation.
Well, and he's a big body that disrupts plays down there, whether it's defensively, offensive. He's a guy that's going to be there. The defense is going to have to respect because they know he can score, but he also can deflect some of that defensive pressure to get the shooters open as well.
McPotto picked up his dribble, forcing a handoff to Gaffney. 10 on the shot clock. He's guarded by James, has a screen, and unable to handle the ball is Lane. Swings out for a deep 3 for Early, and he knocks it down. Just an ugly possession we've seen by both teams, yet still finding a way to get the ball through the hoop.
Ugly possession and good defense by the Panthers. Gaffney would get the ball, he'd switch off, and the Panthers would jump through, around, over picks. They're doing everything they can.
And Hamasaki on the lip. He is fouled. A strong block by McPotto with the hand, but the body also clocked Hamasaki. And almost stolen. A good double team by the Stags. That's something the Panthers need to consider, as we just saw Lane unable to catch it as we look at the highlight. Hamasaki going up with the right hand layup. And a block and kind of caught on the hip. When you have two bodies, four arms jumping up at someone, Gardner, the odds are pretty high. At least one of them hit the player. As Hamasaki's first free throw is nothing but the bottom of the net. Stags have two subs checking in. That is Ellie alongside Lund. Checking in for McPotto. And Harris, I believe. Hamasaki's second free throw, no good. Rebound by Gaffney.
And this is the starting five that we've become used to seeing. These guys play together so well. They're all seniors except for Atwater. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
And Lund checks into the game and makes some noise, putting the Stags up by 3. Largest lead of the night for Claremont. Zaversnik, the open deep 2, knocks it down. Just beautiful rhythm right there by Zaversnik on the jumper.
Well, and we mentioned how Zaversnik and how are Hamasaki going to get their points, because they know the Stags are going to be keying in on them. That's just a beautiful pick, pass, and then he's able to get that one-step jumper.
And a kick ball by Atwater, no whistle blown, because Gaffney came up with a double team of Lund. A good decision on the adjustment. Pump fake by Ellie. He drives in, and we have a blocking foul call against Atwater. That's his third personal. That's a critical foul, Gardner.
Yes, it is, and that's what you were mentioning earlier, because Bukowski chose to keep him in, and he eventually sat him, but 3 fouls. He's going to have to sit down for a while now.
Let's take a look at the replay, and that charge block difference, it's awfully difficult to call, Gardner. It's a very tough call for a ref to call in live action. Just so many moving bodies. Got to see if they're sitting or not. First free throw good for the Stags, as Taylor and Jordan Young check in for James and Atwater. Atwater walking off in frustration.
Well, Kent, you said it. For the Panthers, Atwater provides not only size and hustle, but he's very good offensively. The other night, he got a 3 and 1, so he's good with the ball, especially when he gets contact.
And the offensive rebound by Lund, and he is fouled on the way up. Justin Young, the rebound went off his fingertips, then off the rim, and that's just a frustrating situation, giving the Stags an opportunity for 2 more points.
Well, speaking of size, you see Atwater being missed right there. We mentioned Taylor, not that physically imposing. He's a great player defensively and very adept when he has the ball.
As Hankey checks in, and he replaces Justin Young, who had a very unlucky possession on the last one. Another sub checking in. It is Scarlett. His first playing time of the afternoon. He replaces Grodal. So Lund's second free throw, nice and composed and right through the hoop. A 4-point lead for the Stags with 4 minutes to go in the opening half.
Well, and Lund, not Gaffney, the Stags' leading scorer and the most effective player on this Stags team to this point.
Hamasaki in isolation set, no good. Tip out by Jordan Young to Hamasaki again, no good again. And that is rebounded by the Stags this time. Hamasaki with 2 very quick looks right there, Gardner.
Yeah, well, he's not afraid to shoot. He's not going to be afraid to shoot even if he keeps missing, but that's what the Panthers want because he is one of their main offensive threats.
And a mismatch down low for the Stags is Lund. Guarded by Hamasaki, the 3 by Gaffney instead. No good, rebound by Hankey. And a loose ball ends up in the hands of Hamasaki. A good tip out by Zaversnik.
Good tip out by Zaversnik, but great.
And Zaversnik to the rim in the finish.
But great offensive awareness by the sub, Hankey, to grab that rebound, rip it out of the defender, the offensive player's hands. Continue that play.
Alley swinging it right side for Early. Early kicking out the corner for Gaffney for 3, no good. Jordan Young with the board, passing up to Zaversnik. Panthers in transition have been far more effective on the offensive end. Jordan Young spinning, going down low to Taylor. Taylor double teamed, and he is fouled. That is the 5th Stag team foul as head coach Scalamini walking with the, what kind of call was that, Face?
Because Scalamini can't see this side of the court. As you see here, Taylor just getting hooked from the back. Does not look like a foul, but in fact it is. The refs were right.
Hamasaki inbounding for the Panthers. Lob pass to Taylor over his head. That would be a Panther turnover. And Gardner, it's tough when you have that kind of set. You got to have an emergency valve up top, and no one was moving up top. It was just Zaversnik running a curl screen off of Taylor. Early bringing the ball up the floor for the Stags. Claremont leading by 2. And Gaffney kicking it out for an open 3 for Ellie. No good short. No Panther around the basketball. Everyone corralling around the hoop, and Gardner, a 3-point miss is going to result in a very long rebound.
Right, but also one thing that we have noticed, a lot of shots off the front of the rim, something that a lot of the time happens when you're fatigued. These guys did play a lot of minutes last night, and so we'll see if that continues to be something to watch throughout the game on both sides of the basketball.
Gaffney up top with 11 on the shot clock. Pump fake and stepping by is Scarlett. No good. Offensive rebound, Stags. Chapman, they have to move a body and box out. Scarlett able to kick it out to the corner for early for 3. No good. Taylor with the rebound. Hamasaki on the break, a 1-on-3 situation, and he doesn't care about the numbers. He'll finish anyways, Gardner.
That's a 1-on-3 fast break, and Hamasaki splits through them all. Hamasaki in another zone these playoffs.
Hamasaki with 18 points on the evening. Pass goes down low to Lane. Rips through the hook shot through 3. Panthers is good.
There's not much you can do as a defender. He just took the ball and he just out-muscled 2 Panther players for that. That's going to be hard. You want to slap the ball away if you can before he can raise it up above his shoulders.
And Gardner runs at the ends of halves are key. It gives you momentum into the second half. See which team can continue to run as Hamasaki steps through, can't finish on the reverse. And that will be Panther basketball. A beautiful hanging in the air, switching hand move. Just a tough shot to finish. Rare to see Hamasaki miss those.
Well, but Hamasaki, it seems, has been getting better as the season goes on. He can do stuff in the air that constantly amazes. He'll go up with one hand and appear to go up under and then switch hands for that layup. Just a sad miss for him because it was a great play.
Panthers in the line set. Pass goes into the corner for Zaversnik. See if Chapman elects to go 2 for 1. They need to shoot in the next 4 seconds. Set to Hamasaki. Zaversnik pump fakes on the 3, drives baseline, loses the handle. Chapman will keep possession. And Gardner, this is one thing that in Division III basketball in general they don't do at the end of halves and the games, not valuing the 2 for 1 possession enough. As these teams, they're getting respectable looks on both ends, especially in transition. Lob pass to Hankey, drop step. He is stripped cleanly by Lund. So the Stags will have the final possession with the opportunity to extend their lead up to 5. Gaffney up top of the ball, passing right side, and 14 on the clock. Shot clock has been turned off for the remainder of this first half. Guarded by James. Gaffney going to work, swings the left side for Early. Early back to Gaffney. Gaffney to Early. He's open. He swings out the right side. The shot's off in time, and it is good for Ellie, knocking down the open wing jumper to make it 30-26 at the end of the first half. Panthers scrambling there, Gardner, at the end of that play, trying to create double teams, trying to create turnovers, but unable to successfully do it. But Gardner, Chapman didn't end the half well, but they are still in the game.
Absolutely. Both teams playing not exactly how we expected. The one thing that has been as we expected, Hamasaki with 18 points. He leads all scorers, but Lund for the Stags has been the top scorer for them.
And so Gaffney, we just saw that 3 from him on the highlight. He did some damage in the first half. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we will have the Chapman halftime report here on the Chapman Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Harold Hunt Sports Center. I'm Ken Paisley alongside me, my partner Gardner Royce. Chapman trailing 30-26 here at the end of the first half. And Gardner, let's take a look at some of those highlights to how we got to 30-26.
Yes, sir, Kent. So we're going to take a look at the highlights, but first we're going to look at how the Panthers are trailing in this first half. So first you see Gaffney going on, but he wasn't the storyline of this first half. It actually was Lund who, getting the ball down low, he went for 10 points. He's the Stags' leading scorer. Expected Gaffney to lead them, but that's not how it worked. Here you do see Gaffney getting in, drawing the contact, still getting the shot to fall. He got his shots as well. But Taylor Hamasaki leading all scorers with 17 points, picking up where he left off from last night. Here we go, Hamasaki, another layup. And then finally getting here, Hamasaki with the jumper. But so one of the biggest storylines for the second half will be whether the Stags and Gaffney can get going. The Panthers expected him to take the ball for most of the first half, but it was in fact Lund who had the biggest impact on the Panthers.
Now let's take a look at the summary of the first half, Gardner. You can see these numbers, they're pretty close. Stags winning the rebound battle by 1, Panthers winning the assist battle by 1, 3-1 in the turnover battle. Gardner, you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, rebounding being a key part for Chapman and forcing turnovers. They've been unable to force turnovers, rebounding respectively well in their early going. And looking at the key players for each team, Lund, Gardner, had a big first half for the Stags. And let's take a quick look to our sideline reporter, Melanie DeOracle. Melanie, what do you have for us?
Guys, it is loud in the stadium. Chapman totally came to support their team. Now remember how at the beginning of the game I said they don't know how to guard Gaffney? Well, they kept him to 5 points. Let's see if they can keep that defense going in the second half. Back to you guys.
Melanie, thanks for the hit on the star Gaffney. As she mentioned, 5 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc as the Panthers return with their starting lineup. Atwater with 3 personal fouls. McPotto with 2 for the Stags, the only Stag in foul trouble. Atwater handing off to James.
Well, Kent, as we talked about before, this Panther team undersized, so they have to get by using their grit. That's going to be difficult for Atwater because he has 3 fouls, and so him trying to play that tough style of defense that they like to do will be difficult when he has to watch his fouls.
And Gardner, you mentioned these teams shoot the 3 well, uncharacteristically poor 3-point shooting in the first half. As Gaffney pulls up the deep 2, no good off back irons, averaging the rebound. And a Hamasaki on the right side. Zaversnik for 3, off balance, no good.
Neither team shooting the ball that well from 3, which is what we talked about coming in. They got to get their shooters open. Maybe that fatigue, maybe the defense is actually having an impact on these Panthers.
And a backdoor feed is converted by Grodel.
We mentioned that in the first half. The Panthers have to shore up their interior defense. Lund got away with 10 points in the first half. They need to be a lot better at preventing those backdoor, those cuts that we saw throughout the first half and just there.
And we have a foul off the ball. That will be charged to Early, trying to harass Zaversnik a little bit too much, resulting in the personal. That is the first team foul of the second half.
And one thing that we talked about before, Gaffney rarely sees any time on the bench. He played a full 20 minutes, longer than anyone else played in the first half. We'll see whether he sits down. Most likely he will not in the second half.
And Coach Pekoski continues to go back to that same inbounds play, Gardner. It has not gotten them results. It's gotten them looks, but not buckets. And this is a make or miss game. And the 3-point attempt from Grodel is good. The Stags getting off to a 5-0 run to open up the half. Largest lead of the game of 9 points as Coach Pekoski elected to take his first time out of the game just under 2 minutes into the first half. He's taken a full timeout. So we will take a full break here as well on the Chapman Broadcast Network with your Panthers trailing 35-26 with 18 minutes to go in the game as we have a quick look here at that last 3-pointer made by Grodel. Welcome back here on the Chapman Broadcast Network. It's the SCIAC Championship game. Gardner and the Panthers did not come out of the gate here in the second half like it was a big-time game, struggling on the offensive end in the early going.
Yes, and one thing, coming into the half, they were down, and the Stags weren't even playing the offense that they normally play. Lund, as we keep mentioning, was getting the majority of their points, but now they come out in the second half, the Stags that is, and they get going. They're getting the good shots like they normally do. Great defense there by the Stags, picked up back by Zaversnik.
Mikado with another block. Hamasaki, the off-balance two, no good. Justin Young on the board, swinging out to James, and Hamasaki. It's tough for him to recognize. He's not on fire at this point. He's not going to make those impossible shots. He's got to focus on creating good ones. James firing up a three with that injured hand off. No good. Rebounded by Lane. And it's just tough. James built that three-pointer in the second half of the season, Gardner, and just the touch is gone with that injury. Incredibly difficult to adjust in less than 24 hours. Mikado with the ball up top, 15 on the shot clock. Feeds it to the open early, who swings out up top for three, and that's Grodel again. Back-to-back threes for the Stags.
Kent, we talked about this. The Panthers were down early in the first half, and the Stags weren't even playing their offense. Now the Stags come out, they're hitting threes, they're keyed in. The Panthers are going to have to make adjustments if they hope to close this gap.
Zaversnik crosses over, and Mikado with the rebound. Chapman coming out as cold as you can be at the start of this half, but it's going to be beginning on the defensive end. A turnover to try and create some offense here. As Grodel again for three. That was a heat check, and that did not go in his favor. And we have a foul called. As Lund checks in, he replaces Lane. So that was a foul on the rebound. Gaffney inbounding for the Stags in a box set. Pass goes down low to Lane, who just checked in, bullying his way over Young. No good. Rebound by Grodel, who's fouled, and he gets the bucket to go. And we have a technical foul called against Grodel immediately after.
You absolutely cannot be doing that. He gets a rebound, puts it back up, and then yells in his ear. Watch, right here.
Here's Grodel on the rebound.
Good positioning going up, but then he yells in his ear. Come on, you can't be doing that.
And so Hamasaki will take the technical free throw. And Gardner, the big mistake, in usually in Division III, you don't have too many fans, but that riled up this crowd that had nothing to cheer for.
And Grodel, though, coming out in the second half, hitting 2 3-pointers, and then just out-muscling the entire Panther team for that rebound. The Panthers are going to have to play a lot better if they want to get back into this game that's quickly slipping away.
Hamasaki gets the first technical free throw to go. He has one more left. And he gets the second to go as well. So again, the value of having home court, Gardner, in the playoffs is you get fans, they make some noise, they give you additional energy, and right now this Chapman team needs it.
Well, basketball is a game of runs, and this Chapman basketball team can go on runs because of how good they are from shooting in transition. They get that ball in transition with Garrett pushing it, and you have Hamasaki or Zaversnik flanking. They can get points quickly, but it's whether or not they can get stops defensively like they've talked about all season so that they can start chipping away at this lead.
And a motion set for the Panthers. Zaversnik grabbing the tip back. 20 in the shot clock, plenty of time as James pump fakes, fades. He's rejected from behind, and that goes out of bounds off of James, and he is laying down in frustration.
No love lost between these two teams. They've both fought through a long, hard season to get to this SCIAC final.
Props to the mop man cleaning up right there. Stags take possession. And a quick breather for the Panthers to resettle right here, Gardner, again. They have not made a field goal so far in the second half. Over 4 minutes into it. They got to find a way to reset this car that's stalling. Pass goes to Lund down low, and that is a charge. Big play by Hankey, who just checked into the game, Gardner.
Well, and that's what he's been doing throughout this game, just playing smart. As you see, getting there, getting knocked over. He's playing smart. He's that big body that they're going to need, especially with Outwater. With Outwater, who has 3 fouls, they're going to have to use him smartly. So a really, really good play by the reserve.
Hankey doing the little things for this Panther team. That's what it takes to win the SCIAC Championship. The 100th edition here at the Harold Hutton Sports Center. Going down low to Young. Young, lefty hook. That's been his favorite move all year, rebounded by the Stags. And Lund is just too big for this team right now, Gardner.
And Grodel is just playing with the most energy on the court. He's getting rebounds, he's getting shots. He's coming out fired up.
And once again, the backdoor feed works for the Stags as Gaffney gets the layup. Saversnik cross-court pass, Hamasaki with the feed. Chapman trying to go down low. Just unable to do much. They need to try and run some pick and rolls, create some mismatches for Hamasaki. He is guarded by Early, 7 on the shot clock. Loses the handle, dribbling right side, spins, fades, fires. No good, short off front iron.
We talked about that ball bouncing off the front iron. That's a fatigue thing. He was getting those shots to fall all night. That was one of the ways that the Panthers actually got away with some poor offensive possessions last night, is that he just bailed them out.
And Gaffney off the curl, no good. Panthers pushing on the break. No look pass to James. He is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line for 2.
And see, that's what the Panthers need to do if they want to get back into this game. They need to push the ball in transition, get to the lane, stop the clock, get to the free throw line, and then the Stags will start defending. They'll start closing in. As we see here, James going up, getting fouled. He'll go to the line.
And we have a timeout called by head coach Ken Scalamini of the Stags. He will elect to take a full timeout. And Garner will have a discussion during this break about this Panther team. Just the offense scoring 2 points in the first 6 minutes. Just not what we're used to seeing from this team.
Well, and so I think the Chapman offense really relies on the ability of Zaversnik and Hamasaki to create their shots. But sometimes their offense slows down. It gets a bit predictable. And so when you have a team like the Stags who are able to close off, if Zaversnik's getting the ball, he's getting pressure instantly. Same with Hamasaki. And for Hamasaki, his shots just aren't falling. So sometimes this Chapman team can get stagnant when Hamasaki and Zaversnik aren't putting the ball into the basket.
And looking at that last backdoor bucket for the Stags, Gaffney able to take off from the back pick, getting the wide open look, and resulting in his 7th point of the evening.
Well, and coming into this game, everyone knew that they were going to be keying in on Gaffney. He's the conference leading scorer, and so what he's been able to do is move well without the ball, because they've denied him the ball a fair amount through this game. But as you mentioned, he's coming off picks well, he's making good cuts, he's making smart basketball plays so that he still can be an effective scorer for the Stags team.
And Gardner, one thing the Panthers are going to have to get away from is feeding it into the post. Right now they're continually forcing it into Justin Young. As Justin Young is back to the bench, his brother Jordan checks in. And feeding it down low has resulted in this poor field goal percentage for the Panthers. They are shooting 30.3% from the floor as James goes to the free throw line for 2.
Well, and you mentioned it, the Panthers shooting 30.3%. Respectively, the Stags are shooting 46%. James off the front iron. He's shooting with that taped up finger, cannot feel good.
Second one is converted. Checking in is Dragovic. He replaces James for the Panthers.
Some very vocal Chapman fans throughout the first half yelling a lot at the Stags. You got to wonder, sometimes in sports, the fans can actually have a detrimental effect on the outcome. Now, I'm sure the Panthers love having this much support, but if one of the players on the Stags takes offense or uses that as motivation, that is not what the fans would like.
Gaffney passing it out to the open early for 3. He knocks it down. And Garner, you mentioned at halftime they were due to start hitting these threes if they kept being wide open.
fact that Lund led the Stags with 10 points in the first half is not how they play basketball. This second half is a good indication of how the Stags actually do play, how they were one of the best teams in the SCIAC.
Zaversnik fading, firing, no good, and Dragovic with the save to Hankey. Hankey goes up, he is fouled. And Garner, we saw this same behavior from the Poets yesterday when the game started going away from them. They went to their stars, forcing up a lot of tough, contested jumpers. And you look at the replay, the hustle right there by Dragovic to knock it back in, trying to go off Lund, but instead Hankey comes up with it, he puts it back up, and he is fouled.
When you mentioned it, taking ill-contested, taking bad shots for the Poets is what kind of doomed them in the end. But also, as we mentioned before, when the Panthers, Hamasaki, and Zaversnik aren't hitting their shots, they have a very difficult time getting points. And it's one of the reasons that throughout the season, they would struggle at times because teams recognize this and they would key in on that.
Early across the floor, passes it off to Ellie. Ellie down low to Gaffney. Another backdoor cut. Gaffney, the reverse.
We mentioned this before, moving well without the ball. Gaffney doesn't need to have the ball in his hands for him to have an impact. He knows that the defense is keying in on him, and so he's just making smarter basketball plays that the Panthers aren't picking up.
And the cross-court pass to Young, good catch. And Garner, you're just noticing on the offensive sets, when Hamasaki has the ball, no one is moving. They're standing in the corner. Dragovic going down low. He is blocked from behind. Good rejection by Ellie.
No one is moving, and as we mentioned, the Chapman offense can get very predictable because it's either Hamasaki or Zaversnik with one of those, they get the handoff and they dribble, trying to make a move, they get in an ISO set, and as you mentioned, no one moves.
And Dragovic, he's rejected again by Ellie. Back-to-back blocks, 6 on the shot clock.
And Kent, you said this exactly a few minutes ago. They have to stop pounding the ball inside because it is not working for them.
Hamasaki inbounding, Panthers in a semi-line set, back to Dragovic. Dragovic tripping through, going to the middle again, this time left-handed, rejected 3 times in a row. Young's jumper is short, and that is a shot clock violation. Gardner, Coach Bukowski showing a lot of faith in his players by going back to that same play over and over, but if you're rejected 3 times in a row, that's gonna shake your confidence.
A lot of faith, but look at this, he gets absolutely swatted 3 times in a row. That's faith in your teammates, but that's also possibly not respecting the defense. The Stags are playing phenomenally defensively right now.
The Stags looking to answer back to 2 regular season losses against this Panther team as Bukowski elects to use his second time out of the game, taking a full break to discuss with his coaching staff what's going on here.
And one thing to note is that we've been monitoring the whole time is rebounds. And the Panthers are down. The Claremont Mud Scripts is out rebounding them 25 to 22. They've just been playing so well. Gaffney with that beautiful reverse shot, and he's just making his man miss. The Panthers are trying to keep the ball away from him. He's just quicker, he's faster, and he's smarter right now than the Panther defense.
As Bukowski giving some motivational words to his team right now, and Gardner, a lot of it is just personal, professional pride right now on the defensive end. They are giving up open looks. They're getting beaten time and time again. And it's going to take a lot of pride to step up here and get some stops to create a run, because it's all going to start on the defensive end for this team.
Well, a lot of pride, but at the same time, the Panthers are the #1 team in the SCIAC. They have the #1 seed. They've had adversity before. 12 minutes and 23 seconds. There's still a lot of game to be played, but they have to make sure that they start taking better shots. They have to move without the ball, as you mentioned. They can't stand around and wait for something to happen. This defense is too good for Claremont Mud Scripts.
And Gardner, we mentioned at the top of the telecast with our sideline reporter, Nally, that Bukowski mentioned luck on this team, and luck also meant to him keeping his players healthy, and healthy means being on the floor, and who's not on the floor for them right now, who they could use is their former center, John Joyce, giving strong rebounding, and he could give a big problem for Lund, but he's been out for undisclosed reasons since February. And feeding down low, good tip by Justin Young.
That defensive intensity you can see even just from Hamasaki coming out stronger, more emotional. They are going to have to make a push right now before this does get away from them.
And bounce pass goes to Gaffney. The open 2 short. And Zaversnik with the board, and he is fouled from behind. A friendly hug by Linz. That is the 6th Stag team foul, and Gardner, I mentioned this before multiple times, the best way to come back in a game is to get to the free throw line. Chapman now in the bonus the rest of the way with 11:45 to go in the game. So every time they're fouled, they will go to the free throw line. Hamasaki going right side. And in the middle is Young, and these Panthers, they're just tentative inside the key, Gardner, with all of these rejections.
Well, you can see why. Every time they come in there, a brick wall comes in front of them, and the Panthers haven't been able to get anything going from the inside.
Young called for the foul as he tried to steal the ball away from Ellie. And you know, Gardner, this Panther team, they've got to get some more dedication. They've been rejected so many times, but they got to keep asking that hoop out to give them some points. That's what they need. Just because the Stags are saying no doesn't mean they can't say yes and attack through. Gaffney takes the inbounds pass. And he is fouled. That's a textbook check foul. You cannot reach out with that right elbow by Dragovic. As we will take a look at the replay, and there it is, that right elbow just riding him all the way through.
Dragovic is just not quick enough, and Gaffney blows by him.
Gaffney again, the deep two, no good offside iron. Rebound by Jordan Young. He's looking to push the ball on the break. James passing out to Zaversnik. The open three is good. A bucket the Panthers desperately needed, Gardner.
And you can feel how desperate that bucket was. This Hutton Sports Center holding their breath. Finally some positive.
And we have another hand check call. That will be back-to-back fouls against Dragovic, pleading his case with the ref, and the ref explaining. That will be the 2nd personal foul against Dragovic, 4th Panther team foul. Chapman picking up 3 fouls in less than a minute. Gaffney taking the inbound feed, has a screen, he elects to take it. Cross-court pass in the corner. Pump fake, getting by Young, and another foul called. That is the 5th Panther team foul and the 4th personal against Justin Young.
Panther fans don't like this, but there's a lot of physical play right there on that replay, as you can see along the baseline.
Coach McCoskey not subbing out Justin Young yet. Pass goes down low, the foul and the bucket. A poor foul right there by Jordan Young. Just lightly bumping. If you're gonna run in and you're fouling, you gotta hit hard to make sure that ball does not go through the hoop.
You got 5 fouls and make them count. That foul was not used wisely by Young. You got to see some fatigue setting in a bit for the Panthers.
As the free throw is up and converted, as Hankey checks in for Davis Dragovic. And Gardner, Coach Bukowski, he made the mistake of leaving Atwater in with 3 personal fouls in the opening half. He left him in for a possession. It's 2 things. One, he's not entirely sure that Justin Young has 4 that's happened before, or he's leaving them in as he should, because this is crunch time. This is playoff time. It's championship basketball. You want your best players on the floor when it counts.
You want your best players on the floor, but also your best players who are making a difference.
And Zaversnik with back-to-back threes.
Bukowski recognized that size was going to be a factor in this game, and so leaving Atwater in. But once again, that interior cut by Gaffney, the Panthers' defense is not doing what they need to be doing right now.
They're getting big buckets and just not able to connect runs as James feeding it down low to Hankey. Hankey has position, can't get the layup to go, and a powerful rebound by Lane.
You talked about luck throughout this telecast. The Panthers have not been getting the lucky bounces.
And we have a foul call. James visibly frustrated. These Panthers have gotten 6 fouls in the last minute and a half. Hamasaki and McPotto check in. We have the replay here, and appeared that we may have just lost his footing right there. Gardner to the floor. He goes to the line for a 1-and-1.
The Panthers, though, at the same time, they are playing very physical defense, both Dragovic and James. So while, of course, they're not going to want that call, Dragovic has been playing quite physical, which is how you need to play against Gaffney, but you do run the risk of getting a foul.
Gaffney lines up the free throw and knocks it down. That's his 12th point of the evening. He only had 5 at the half. Lining up the second. Gaffney, an 83% free throw shooter on the year, gets both to go. So an 18-point lead, 9 minutes to go. Gardner, the Panthers have to make up about a bucket a minute. And once again, it all starts on the defensive end. That ball is tipped out, so Zaversnik recovers, no over and back violation. He dribbles and fires up the three, no good on the third attempt. Henke passing back to Zaversnik off the offensive rebound. And Gardner, the Panthers don't exactly have the time to run these lengthy sets. Zaversnik continuing to dribble, no passing, no ball movement. His pass is stolen, and another personal foul called.
They don't have the time, but the Panthers offense also, like we said, when Zaversnik and Hamasaki get stopped, the Panthers offense does not have the necessary plays to utilize other people. We've seen them try and go down low. This Stags defense is too good. They can see that coming. When Zaversnik gets the ball outside, he's gonna try and make something happen. It hasn't worked, so he's passed it off to Hamasaki. The shot clock goes down. Last night, Hamasaki was able to throw anything in and go in. Tonight, that's not the case. One of the main reasons that the Stags are up so big.
Napato lines up the first free throw, no good. Rebound by Atwater, just checked back into the game. Hamasaki with the ball on the left side. And Gardner, you almost need a repeat performance. He fires up the contested two. It's good. You need Hamasaki to repeat what he did yesterday against the Poets for the Panthers to have any real chance of coming back into this one as Bukowski takes his third timeout.
Well, and you can see how desperately the Panthers need this. Hamasaki rising up, nothing but net. They're still down big, but this Panthers fans, if they can get back into the game, maybe provide some energy for the team. This is the seniors. This is their last home game. So they're going to want to dig deep. There's less than 10 minutes left. Bukowski, I'm sure, is looking in their eyes and saying, this is it. You got to come together.
As Coach Bukowski has the Panthers in a huddle again. Another angle that Hamasaki fade away on the baseline. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Beautiful footwork. Hamasaki, when he gets his feet under it, it's going to go in every time. It's just when he gets a little bit out of control on some of his moves is when that miss will pop up for him. And Hamasaki playing the best basketball of the Panthers right now. He is 7 of 15 from the field for 19 points, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe, and 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. Panthers going to a full court press here. Early gets the inbounds pass. Now across half court. And the Hutton Sports Center getting back into it. Stags again running this set, looking for a backdoor feed. And we have a 5-second call against McPotto. Cannot stand up top forever with the basketball.
You don't see that very often, but what that means is that the Chapman defense was playing very well, marked all the other players so that he had nowhere to go. That's a good sign coming out in that full court press. We'll see whether or not the Panther offense can get something going.
Zaversnik on the flyby, no good. Rebound by Lund. Gaffney with possession.
Zaversnik's not going to get much of a better shot than that.
And Lund's hook shot, no good. Offensive rebound, Grodel. His putback is rejected. Grodel again grabs the ball. He is fouled. That's a strong foul by Atwater right there.
Strong foul, and Grodel is doing everything he can to out-rebound the entire Panther team. We talked about this at the beginning of the game. Whoever wins the rebound, here you go. He goes up. Grodel comes down with it, goes back up.
Good rejection right there, but Young just not able to react in time to grab that board. The first free throw, no good, off back iron. So Chapman down by 16 points with 8 minutes to go. And that is the 9th Panther team foul the Stags, and the double bonus the rest of the way. It was a 6-1 foul difference with 11 minutes to go. Chapman has picked up 8 fouls in 3 minutes. And a lot of dribbling on this Panther possession. Hamasaki, no hesitation on the three, and knocks it down.
The Panthers need to not only get more offensive possession, but they also have to get stops on defense. Not only has their offense been stagnant, but their defense has been not able to stop the Stags at all.
McPotto up top, goes left side for early. Hutton Sports Center again getting involved, Gardner, but this Panther team has not been able to keep them involved. Lund with the spin, the shot, the foul, and the bucket. And there has been no answer for the big man. He now has 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting. And we have a replay here as Lund spinning, lost the handle, able to recover and put the ball through the hoop. An impressive finish for the Stag.
Well, the Panthers really having trouble stopping the Stags on all aspects of their defense, whether it's...
And we have an offensive foul called. That will be charged to Grodel. Pushing Panthers in the back to get the offensive rebound. That's a no-no in the rule book, Gardner.
Well, and as we mentioned at halftime, the Stags normally get a lot of their offense from beyond the arc, from jump shots. Early on, they were getting it on the inside. The Panthers unable to prevent Lund from going. Now, the Stags are just kind of getting it from all over.
As Young winds up the free throw. He gets the first one to go on the 1-and-1. So Gardner, the Stags went on this run at the start of the second half, and teams have both settled in here, and the lead's just oscillating between 18 and 12 points. Panthers are going to have to bust through if they want to get back in this game as Hankey checks in for Atwater.
As we mentioned, the Panthers have to get stops. They've been unable to get stops, even when Zaversnik and Hamasaki are getting them points now.
Stags into their set. Good screens off the ball, goes down low, it's tipped. Saved by Justin Young, who feeds it to Hankey. So Panthers create a turnover. Zaversnik thought about the NBA three there, almost a little greedy. Good feed to Justin Young, and he finishes the layup.
We talked about creating turnovers as one of the keys to the game. The Panthers have been unable to create turnovers throughout this game. They can get these turnovers, their defense will create offense. They're so good at the transition offense.
And James tipping the ball away from Gaffney. 18 on the shot clock. And James, aggressive defense against Gaffney. Panthers want this stop here. Kick out to Grodel for three, and he answers.
The Panthers played such hard defense. James was in Gaffney's face, yelling him, telling him to take it. Grodel just saves that Stags offensive possession.
And a good play right there by Young. Saw the Stags set to take the charge. Jump stops, fires up the lefty hook, trimming the deficit to 13 points with 6 minutes to go. Coach Pekoski taking a full timeout here. That will be his fourth timeout, 6:01 to go here. And we will take a break here on the Chapman Broadcast Network. Chapman trailing 61-48 in the SCIAC Championship game. Welcome back to the Harold Hutton Sports Center, taking a look at the replay on the last possession. And we also have word from our sideline reporter, Melanie. Excuse me, we do not have a quick hit from Melanie. We'll get to her as soon as
remember how we talked about foul trouble? Well, both these teams are already in the bonus. And remember how we said they're not good from the free throw line. They both just average over 60% at the free throw line. Man, it is loud in this building. I'll throw it back to you guys because I can't even hear myself think.
Melanie, thanks for the quick hit right there. Panthers take possession off of the turnover, and it is certainly loud in here, Gardner.
Standing room only for the Panthers student section as they know the necessary with Hamasaki for three.
And the big bucket to trim the deficit to 10 points. Panthers have taken out 8 points of that 18-point lead, and the momentum slowly returning to this Chapman team. And it does not hurt to have the Harold Hutton Sports Center on your side. Grodel for three. He cannot answer. Rebound by Hankey. Dragovich on the bunny hop. Kicks it out to Zaversnik. He goes right side. He fires up the three. No good. And that is a foul called against the Panthers. And the Harold Hutton Sports Center letting the refs have it on that call.
Let's see if we get a replay on that, because it did not appear that it was a foul on Henke.
And to the charity stripe, it is Lane for 2. Lane is 1 of 2 for the free throw line so far. The Stags are in the double bonus. Lines up the first and knocks it down. We have the replay. Zaversnik with the fire, the miss. Jump up and a push off right there by Lane. A missed call by the referee. The second free throw off front iron, no good. Justin Young with the rebound. Hamasaki on the right side. Panthers trailing by 11. He pulls up for 3. No good, in and out. That is rebounded by the Stags.
In and out for Hamasaki. The Panthers not getting the lucky breaks they got last night, but they are playing much better on defense, getting better offensive possessions.
And the defensive intensity for the Panthers has stepped up. Everyone in the grill of their man. There may have been quite a bit of walking right there by Lane, and we have a foul called against the Stags. Hamasaki will go to the free throw line for a 1-and-1, and Chapman can score, get the lead under 10 points without the clock moving, Gardner.
And you talked about this, Ken, when teams are down like they are in the second half, getting to the line, stop the clock. The Panthers now are playing much better on defense, as here we see them double teaming, stripping for this, and then Hamasaki gets the foul, so he'll go to the line with the chance to trim this to within 10.
That foul is charged to Ellie as Hamasaki lines up the front end, knocks it down. Garrett James returns to the game for the Panthers. He replaces Davis Dragovich. Resetting the floor for the Stags, it's Early, Gaffney, Lane, Ellie, and Grodel.
And despite the 10-point differential, the Panthers slowly regaining some of this momentum. It's a 9-point game with 4 minutes, 17 seconds to go. Student section still standing with a full court press.
Panthers trying to trap the basketball here. Zaversnik tips it, corralled by Gaffney, Early across half court. Stags get back into a set, and all of this energy, Gardner, it's helping this Panther team who played less minutes yesterday. James with a tip, and the over and back is cold. Panthers created another turnover, and James is excited.
Garrett James is fired up. He's playing with a taped up finger, and this student section is fueling the Panthers as they try to come back from down 18 in the second half. It's a 9-point game with just under 4 minutes to go.
The Panthers have the Stags on the heels. They are chasing them down like it's wildlife, Gardner. They are hungry. They want this more than the Stags right now. And we have a timeout called by Coach Scalamini, who recognizes the same thing we are, Gardner. Momentum has returned to the Panthers.
And we talked about this earlier in the second half. Basketball is a game of runs, and the Panthers have the offensive weapons to go on a run. But more importantly, as we've said throughout the entire game, defense is what starts it, because the Panthers have to get their offense in transition. They have to get their shooters open. Their defenses, over the last few minutes, their defense has come together. These fans are fueling the Panthers. It's a close game.
And we mentioned at the last stoppage, Gardner, it's about professional pride in defending your home court. And the Panthers responded beautifully out of the last timeout, stepping up their energy, finding ways. Garrett James looking intensely in at Coach McCoskey's direction. And all of these Panthers on their faces, there is no worry. They were down 18 points with 8 minutes to go. They are down 9 points with 3:59 to go. They are trimming the deficit at the perfect rate, Gardner.
Yes, they are, and we'll see if these final 4 minutes, the top 2 seeds in the SCIAC Conference, the Panthers, a large graduating class of seniors, they know how important this game is. They know how important it is for their legacy if they make it to the Division III NCAA championship playoffs.
Now, Gardner, there is a possibility this team would go as an at-large bid. There's 64 teams that go, but it's a lot easier to go when you have an automatic ticket, and that's what the Panthers are pursuing tonight. Down 9, 3:59 to go as Hamasaki, Zaversnik, James, Henke, and Justin Young are on the floor. Henke has provided some great energy on the defensive end. 6 rebounds alongside 4 points. Panthers in their motion offense out of the timeout. Zaversnik for 3. No good off front iron. A clean look. Rebounded by Grodel for the Stags.
Zaversnik is getting some good shots. They're just not falling.
Interesting, the Stags have gone away from that backdoor feed. Gaffney for 2, no good. Rebound Hamasaki. Hamasaki in transition, losing the handle, kicking it out to James. May have walked, but still has possession. He fires up an off-balance 3. That is short, rebounded by Early and Gardner. The Panthers are forcing 3s when they don't need to.
Absolutely forcing 3s. That was not a good shot by Hamasaki.
And they have a reaching foul called.
You got to play smart. The Panthers are in the double bonus. They have to play physical to try and force these turnovers, but they can't play stupid.
And we have a PG-13 to rated R chant going on in the student section. These fans frustrated with the refs. The Panthers have 17 personal fouls to the Stags 12 on the game, as the first free throw is good for Early.
And we knew the Panthers were going to play physically. As we mentioned, Bukowski said he likes them to play like the bully. He likes them to play gritty, tough, because they have that undersized physicality, so they need to make up for it. But right now, you can't be fouling these Stags.
Second free throw, no good. James with the rebound off the tip from Zaversnik. Chapman down 10 with 3:02 to go. James crosses over, he goes to the rim, he gets the foul. Cannot get the bucket, but Panthers will now be in the double bonus the rest of the way, as that is the 9th Stag team foul with 2:59 to go in the game.
A really good play by their floor general. As you see, he goes in. That's a play where he would want that back, because that's, although he did get the contact towards the end, that was a clean layup, just a little bit too much.
James lines up the first free throw again. He has that tape on his hand, and he misses that off back iron. Panther fans looking on with worry and excitation, as Jordan Young set to check in at the next stoppage, which is being made free throw here. James converts. Young checks in. He replaces Henke. So Bukowski electing to bring in another 3-point shooter. And he'll have Justin Young with 4 personals guarding Ellie, who gets the inbounds pass. And a lob pass to the open Ellie on the right side, who holds the basketball. Stags lead by 9, a 3-possession game with 2:43 to go.
And the Stags are going to look to draw as much time from the clock as possible and then attack, potentially try and draw a foul. So if you're the Panthers, you got to play smart.
Gaffney's pull-up 3, backboard only, as Hamasaki able to push, electing to slow down. Gardner, not a biggest fan of that decision. James going in the middle, behind his back, fades, fires, short off front iron. Chapman trailing by 9 with 135 seconds to go, Gardner.
And you see Stags head coach Scalmanini, telling them to slow down, slow down. They're up 9. They got to run the clock, milk it as much as possible. And if you're the Panthers, you got to play tough defense, but you cannot foul.
The spin move by Ellie, he kicks it out. 7 on the shot clock for the Stags. Grodel fires up the 3. No good off front iron. Offensive rebound, Stags, and a quick foul by Jordan Young. A good decision to foul Lane right there. And Gardner, that's kind of been the story of the evening. Chapman unable to get rebounds because no one sees the shot go up. They just turn and expect it to end up in their hands.
Well, and that's just much better positioning by the center Lane. He saw the shot go up. He got that arm around, got that great positioning. And I mean, we talked about it before the game. One of the keys was crashing the boards. Who was going to win the rebounding battle was going to come away with the SCIAC crown.
Second free throw, no good off front iron. So it's a 10-point game with 100 seconds to go. Jordan Young dribbling right side, hanging off to Zaversnik. Panthers need to shoot. Zaversnik has the memo and converts the layup. Chapman running their full court press. Gaffney gets the pass. Goes to Early. Early back to Gaffney. into the middle for Grodel. Panthers need to foul. Panthers need to foul here, Gardner.
They're waiting for the call from their head coach.
Their assistant coach is calling the foul. They're trying to get to foul early, and early now into the middle, and a good hack against Lane, but Gardner, that was 26 seconds played off the clock that Chapman could not bleed.
And their assistant coach is yelling at them. I think he was trying to get the call in for them to foul. 20 seconds and they're down.
And so Justin Young fouls out of the game. He picks up his first personal. There's 56.8 seconds to go. That is the end of Justin Young's career here at the Harold Hutton Sports Center. And Gardner, the Young brothers have given a fine contribution to this program over their tenure.
They sure have, and it's interesting because they play very different styles of game. Justin Young is larger physically. He takes the ball down, whereas Jordan Young, a very good three-point shooter. We've seen him hit 3 straight three-pointers 2 games ago without even blinking an eye. But when they're on the court together, they have such chemistry. They know exactly where each other is going to be, and they're just tireless workers. Bukowski loves it, the heart, the effort, the energy that they bring every night.
Lane to the free throw line. The first is converted. Second free throw, no good, in and out. James pushing up the floor. Hands off to Zaversnik, fires up the NBA three, knocks it down. Coach Bukowski with the quick timeout. Chapman now trailing by 6.
We'll see. The Panthers are going to elect probably to foul on the inbounds play if they can foul someone other than Gaffney. Here you see the replay. Zaversnik gets the ball, sizes up his defender, and rises up.
And Gardner, they've needed more of that all game long. No hesitation on the fire. Chapman able to make this a 2-possession game. See if they can continue to pick the right person to foul.
And we talk about this, if you're the Panthers, you know you have Jordan Young who can hit 3. Hamasaki can hit 3s. Obviously Zaversnik. So if you can get someone to miss at the free throw line, quickly get up the court, have James, someone setting up good passes. Panthers still clinging to the faint hopes of the comeback.
And Gardner, that's why we watch sports. That's why we announce sports. We love the upset. We love the comeback. We hang on to that low percentage probability chance. And that's exactly what Bukowski is hoping for here for his Panthers. Stags inbounding, may need to call a timeout. They force it in, and immediately fouling. That's Ellie who'll go back to the free throw line. He just missed a pair.
And if you're the Panthers, that's exactly who you want to foul. So great job on their defense out of the timeout.
And as you mentioned, Gardner, the ability to force it into Ellie, a poor free throw shooter. Lines up the first, he knocks that down to make it a 3-possession game, and he breathes a huge sigh of relief after knocking down the first. You can hear the cowbell from the band, the Panther fans making noise. Second one short, no good. Jordan Young with the board, he's pushing up the floor, passing to James. James back to Young, he's open for 3, he fires, he gets it to go! Chapman trailing by 4 with 40 seconds to go.
And just like we said, Jordan Young can hit the 3. So if the Panthers can get another smart foul, and they force the timeout.
So the Stags will have 2 timeouts left. Momentum is rolling over to the Panthers, Gardner.
And look at this here. Jordan Young catches the pass. He just instantly shoots it, doesn't hesitate, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Gardner, this is a team that shot 45% from beyond the 3-point line in preseason play. And while our stats are not totally updated, they were shooting 33.3% before those last 2 3-point attempts.
The Panthers clinging to life. The energy here at Hutton Sports Center is palpable. You look across the court, the Stags section is quiet.
As they should be, Gardner.
Up 4 with 40 seconds left. The momentum is surely on the Panthers' side, but they still have a long ways to go in these final 40 seconds.
And Gardner, if you're Coach Scalamini this time out, you just got to remind your players that, gentlemen, we have this thing called the lead. I don't know about you, but I would like to hold on to that. And they're 40.1 seconds away from accomplishing their vision from the start of the year, winning the SCIAC playoff title. But Chapman, again, down 18 points with 8 minutes to go. Now trailing by 4 with 40.1 seconds to go.
The Panthers, out of this timeout, will have to try and do exactly what they did on the first inbound play, where you deny Gaffney, deny Grotto the ball, force one of the bigs to catch the ball so he can go to the line, and the Panthers hope for another 1 and
2 timeouts left for the Stags, and a Hail Mary pass for Gaffney. He's open, a beautiful play call by Scalamini. Still a 2-possession game as James dribbling up the floor, goes in, he is fouled. So 6 seconds, Gardner, if James knocks down both free throws, 6 seconds to make up that mistake.
And the Panthers playing great defense on the inbounds, but they just let that man go by. As you can see, they let him slip behind that defense, exactly the opposite of what you want, and especially Gaffney, the one player you don't want catching the ball at the end.
As Coach Scalamini shown right now on the screen, getting full credit for that full court press break play. As James to the charity strike for 2, he has struggled this evening from the free throw line. 2 of 4, lining up the first and getting that one to go. So Chapman trailing by 5. Still, again, a 2-possession game regardless of whether or not he makes or misses this free throw. He has Atwater set to check in if James misses the free throw. Or makes it, excuse me, and he does make it. So Atwater checks in. He comes in for Hankey. Hankey has 3 personal fouls. And Atwater has 4. Inbounds pass. Goes in, now in the hands of Gaffney. Chapman trying to create a 10-second call, and another timeout called by the Stags. So 29.7 seconds left. It was 34.1 at that, or 34.3. So that's just under 5 seconds played off the 10-second shot clock.
Panthers clinging on to their season, the SCIAC championship hopes. As you mentioned, the Panthers still have a chance to get a bid to the NCAA tournament, but it would be much easier if they could come back. Down 18 in the second half, the Panthers have clawed back against this Stags team.
And Gardner, we knew this game would be close from the outset. Neither team has won both halves. Actually, excuse me, Chapman did win both halves in their victory here, but they won by 3 points and 2 points. Claremont was up 4, and they've played to a draw in the second half so far, but certainly momentum on the Panthers' side after trailing by 18. So inbounding for the Stags is Grodel. Thought about going deep, passes it into Early, excuse me. Early on the year, a 61% free throw shooter. That is the 4th personal on Young. And Gardner, that's a good foul right there. 61% free throw shooter. This situation does not help that number. It's the SCIAC title game. It's what you've worked for all year long. 30 seconds to go, and you just got to find a way, if you're early, to try and get your heart to calm down.
You know these Panthers fans love this. Trying to rattle him, and he misses the first one.
Dragovic will check in for the Panthers.
In the possibility of a miss, you have to box out if you're the Panthers. You have the position close to the basket.
So less than a second came off between that foul and the inbounds play, Gardner. May have been a friendly home court scorekeeper as there was a couple passes. And it is loud in the Hutton Sports Center. The second free throw short. And out of bounds off of Early. Panthers take possession. They couldn't come up with the board. They burned 4 seconds to get the basketball, but they'll take it. It's a 4-point game.
We said the Panthers had to box out. They didn't box out. They were still able to get that because it bounced off a Stags foot. The Stags fans are stunned here. The Panthers looking to bring and come back from an improbable
18-point deficit. Goes to Young. Young to the corner for Dragovic. He goes in the middle. He steps through. He draws the contact. And he's called for the charge. Look at the replay on the play. Dragovic stepping through the slide in. The contact is drawn, and just a tough call to make in a critical juncture as Hankey checks in for Dragovic.
Not at all the play the Panthers wanted to have. You have Zaversnik and Hamasaki out there.
McCoskey walking in frustration. Grola will inbound. And Grola gets the ball back. He is fouled immediately, no hesitation by Zaversnik. So 13.6 seconds to go. That is the second personal foul against Zaversnik.
The Panthers incredibly frustrated by that charge. Not at all the play that they wanted after getting both misses from early on those free throws, getting the ball back, having possession, down 4.
And Bukowski elects to take a full timeout, giving a pep talk to his players. And we'll take a break here at the Harold Hutton Sports Center. Your Panthers trailing by 4 points here in the SCIAC Championship game on the Chapman Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Chapman Broadcast Network. To the free throw line for 2 is Grodel. He inbound on that last play. He's a 75.8% free throw shooter. He's 2 of 3 from the free throw line today. And Gardner, the Panthers have had their chances. Claremont 16 of 27 from the charity stripe. First one is good.
They've had their chances, and they've made some crucial mistakes at the end of this game. Still a valiant effort to come back from an 18-point deficit, as we mentioned, but that charging foul really, really costly for the Panthers.
Second free throw, no good. Zaversnik picks it up. He's going to have to fire up at 3 almost immediately, Gardner. He dribbles in, poor decision, fades away on the 2. He knocks it down, but he bleeds 7 seconds. A foul immediately on Gaffney and Gardner. This ties back to, with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, Chapman took 26 seconds to pick who they wanted to foul.
And it seemed like assistant coach from the Panthers was yelling to foul. It wasn't clear whether or not the Panthers didn't hear it, if they were confused. But yeah, as you mentioned, those 20 seconds sorely needed right now as Gaffney goes to the line.
The star of the Stags lines up the first and knocks it down. And Gardner, that is the dagger. Chapman out of timeouts. It's now a 2-possession game with 5 seconds to go, unless they have a beautiful Hail Mary play set, but he may as well miss here. He makes it. Inbounds pass goes to Hamasaki. Hamasaki needs to just pull up. The clock will expire, and the game is over. Claremont Mud Scripps storms into the Harold Hutton Sports Center, coming away with the SCIAC title. Holding on in the second half. They win the half by 1 point despite leading by 18 points with 8 minutes to go. They are able to come out with the 5-point victory and get that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And Gardner, just a storied start for this team. They drop 2 games, win 2, drop 2, and they come into here with a lot of momentum, crushing the Poets last night and unable to come up with the most important victory of the year.
Yeah, but a valiant effort by the Panthers coming back from an 18-point deficit early on in the game. In the second half, the Panthers really unable to get any stops. Defensively, their offense was stagnant. Hamasaki, Zaversnik weren't making it. And then fueled by a raucous Chapman crowd, they came back, they made it close. The final minute was incredibly exciting. They brought it down to the wire, but as you mentioned, unable to get it done in the final game for the SCIAC crown.
And no fan has moved for the Harold Hutton Sports Center. Everyone's still stunned by the result, but good sportsmanship by both teams as they shake each other's hands. The Panthers retreating back to their locker room as our sideline reporter Melanie looking to talk with head coach Pekoski of the Panther staff. Excuse me, she's going to talk with no one. It will be us, Gardner, as understandably Panther fans are struggling. So we will take a break here. We'll come back with the Panther post-game report here on the Chapman Broadcast Network. Your Panthers lose the SCIAC title game 71-66 here at the Harold Hutton Sports Center. And as the Stags take their championship photo, as they have secured the hardware, they accomplished their mission for the season. Gardner, just a very tough way for the Panthers to end the year. As we wrap up this Chapman Broadcast Network broadcast, we'd like to thank our executive producer, David Goodhart. He's been our Superman all year long in our first edition of the Chapman Broadcast Network. We'd also like to thank our SID, Doug Aiken, who's given us plenty of information all year long as we've covered football and basketball. And we'd also like to thank our fabulous AD, Eddie Curry. In his final year here at Chapman retiring, he had the longest NCAA athletic director and presidential relationship. They had 25 years together, and that will wrap it up here from the Harold Hutton Sports Center. Your Panthers lose 71-66. For my partner, Gardner Royce, and myself, Ken Paisley, thank you all for tuning into the Chapman Broadcast Network, and have a wonderful evening.